like I already said, Vitality, despite going to the last match with Team Liquid every time they play them, they do always get the W. So expecting the same today. You'll notice Fruity got that Fruity LOL name. He's playing from his epic launcher today, where his name is not just Fruity, just in case anybody's wondering. You're going to probably see a few players running with slightly different names for that reason. With the launcher free-to-play came the epic launcher, so just more ways to connect to Rocket League, and I think some of them are just preferring to use that for competition at the moment.
Oh, we'll find out how that affects them in this game as heading into game number 1. Remember, winner of this goes to 2-0 on the day, and Johnny very much wanting the... So who had what here? Because I was gone for this bit. Who had the 3-0s? Who had the 3-2s? Can you remember any of them?
Yeah, I had Vitality 3-0, Team Liquid 3-2, and then Gibbs had the Giants 3-0. And I forget who his 3-2 was, but yeah, for this one, I'm the only one who really, cares about this from a prediction standpoint. I'm the only one involved in this one, but I need Vitality to win, or else I'm wrong on both. Well, actually, I wouldn't be technically wrong on Team Liquid yet, but it would look like I've got about to be. They're not doing too shabby early on. We actually saw a clean whiff from Alpha 54 already. So Vitality with some slight inconsistencies in their play. This is great for Team Liquid. The worst thing that could have happened to them is if they just come out in this game and, somebody own goals, somebody takes a really bad challenge, we see a double commit early on. There's something to really just throw them off their game. None of those things have happened. The rotation is, fully functional. Well, we are seeing Speed lead the offense here. That's not their game plan, really. He's going to try and play that third-man role today. But sometimes it just happens. You just end up in offense, and if you get there, you got to make yourself effective. Speed almost knocked that one down. That's better from Alpha 54. Good Speed on the transition.
They're going to need more of that. It drops down dangerously. K-Dop looks like the challenge, but Speed did the smart thing. He took it to the side, meant that even if K-Dop did win the challenge, there's no way of really pressuring the net. We do have now a transition to the other side. Speed couldn't quite get that second touch. There is always that worry, though, when it comes to Team Liquid, that no matter how solid they're playing, at the most clutch moment, if it's 0 seconds, if it's overtime, the calamity is on the way. And I feel like it would take a couple of tournaments in a row of us not seeing those three with an amazing setup. And nobody on the pitch, not just his team, was expecting that one to come through.
That was insane. Fruity able to dunk into a double touch, and he almost scored it. It looked like a center ball position. He almost put that on target. Would have been a brilliant goal, probably in the top goals of the day. Right at the very start of the day, like the Solary passing play came from yesterday in round 2. Big chance for Vitality. What a demo. Alpha takes out Guxer and Fairy Peak with the open net.
Well, we wanted to see some passing plays. I think this one very much fits the bill. Cookster taking out mid-air as well. Vitality utilize all 3 members and just destroy the Team Liquid defense. What a goal to kick us off.
Yeah, what nonchalant pass from K-Dop, just driving by and the ball pops up off his car pretty perfectly for Fairy Peak to follow up. That dunk's on target, but Fairy's there. Yeah, big goal for Vitality, getting everybody involved in the offense. Nobody's got any doubt that they're going to perform, no matter how badly the series starts. Look at that, though. It's deja vu for Alpha. Speed in the way of one of his dribbling plays. We saw plenty of that last regional event. And, I'm still not tired of it. The ability for Speed to completely isolate Alpha and kind of man-mark him out of the game is impressive to watch.
Same thing if you're Vitality, and actually if you're on the other side, as Cooks is going to take a shot straight into the body of K-Dop's car. Now Speed looking for the backboard. Cooks here goes with it, but it's bounced off him like no one got contact. Cooks here keeps himself up. Might have been better off leaving it so Fruity could move in behind him. And somehow that has not gone in for Liquid. They're still under pressure, and that is going to be in. Cooks here 97 will tie us up at 1 apiece.
He's on the board. Thank goodness for TL that they were able to put that one in. It's the previous shot. I don't know how on earth the defense missed it. I don't know how the offense missed it. But Team Liquid didn't take too long to create an even better opportunity on net. You can always rely on them to have somebody attacking that near post area as early as possible. That is one of their strengths historically. Cuxer 97 very well known for that. He's got great timing for his arrival, meeting the center ball when it gets there. And he's been trying to play more aggressively, really just get into attack as much as possible. You know, just like NRG's Squishy recently, you know, having to adapt to a much more aggressive role in the team. I think Cuxter will be trying to take a similar route with Team Liquid.
Yeah, Cuxter's always very much been the defensive midfielder of these teams that he's been on, holding the rotation, using that incredible in-game IQ that he has just to try and dictate the pace. Not anymore. Seems like Speed has now been tasked with that. Off the backboard, Fairy Peak's not going to get to it. Lays down the pass for Speed. That was well played on the rotation back. Just make sure you are cutting through. And we are seeing more teams and players doing that to try and take out either the infield pass itself or the player that it's meant for. So no one's going to be here for this one. And we have our first overtime.
We've had one weird play this game where the defense and the Liquid attack were not able to make contact with the ball that was bouncing in front of the net. Apart from that, it's been extremely evenly matched. Saw one Speed save on an alpha dribble. We've seen Cuxter start to establish himself in the final third. He's such a difficult player to read when he's making these offensive touches. Pinch attempted, K-Dot missed alpha by just a small margin there. A Fairy Peak as usual. That backbone for Vitality. He is making it very difficult for Team Liquid to find a way through this Vitality defense. He didn't get on the right side of that clear though, and he won't get the double touch either. And oh, Alpha had to get to that one. The double for Speed was just barely not able to make contact.
Team Liquid are not messing around when it comes to trying to meet some of these players. Here's Cuxter with his attempt, bounces all the way out to Fruity, and it is in off the crossbar. That had to be perfect because the defender was oh so close.
Stunning by Team Liquid. Cuxter getting a favorable 50-50 after a pretty threatening shot. And Fruity over on that far side was so quickly able to get to the ball and smashes it in off the crossbar. This is the exact game plan that Team Liquid were looking for. They want to see Cuxter getting up front. They want Speed to be in defense, just holding everything together. And, you know, if they can execute like this, they're not just going to have a chance of winning this matchup. They might even be a real struggle for Vitality to deal with.
Yeah, certainly so. Team Liquid are hitting the ball so cleanly right now as well. There's no whiffed shots. There's no scuffs that are popping the ball up where you know for a fact a player like Alpha is going to want to go and take control of that as quickly as he possibly can. So for Team Liquid, just continue playing like that. You know, you don't need to push the envelope too much further. As for Vitality, is this what they want right now? Is this the style of play they want, or do they need to adjust one or two things on their side of the ball?
Well, Vitality, just like a lot of other teams, when they play against Team Liquid, will probably just play a more reserved style and a more defensive game because Team Liquid have a knack for beating themselves and for making mistakes that just give their opponents goals for free. Now, we haven't seen any of that today. Team Liquid, they've kept a solid defense. Vitality had to connect a demo play with a beautiful 1-2 pass in order to get a goal in that last game. So if that's what Team Liquid are going to be able to produce in defense, Vitality will need to start pressing more aggressively. They're going to need to step up the aggression, and I don't know if that's going to be comfortable for them with Team Liquid's counter-attacking presence.
Game number 2. If Team Liquid can take this, they'll have 3 match points. Speed's going to take his time, but the pass is really far away from Fruity. Attempt number 2, much more successful, and Alpha called into action. Just see how quickly and well-timed Cuxter is moving in as well. The moment the pop-up is going, he's not even waiting for the ball to start coming back down. He is meeting it at the apex.
Yeah, that is something we're not used to seeing from Cuxter. K-Dot from point-blank range. Cuxter only able to deflect that into the top corner. Fairy Peak and K-Dot connecting once again. That's a really good catch by Fairy Peak on the wall. Perfect control by him. And Cuxter is always going to be second best from that position.
I always love these recoveries from these players that go for the setup, like we just saw from Fairy Peak. Not only has he got the setup, but as soon as he lands on the wall, he is aiming the follow-up recovery to the floor itself to be as close to the defender as possible. Make it nice and awkward.
Oh, wow.
Somehow unable to make contact. That should have been 2-0. Now Speed's pass. I feel like that's an infield pass again from Speed where he's not really looking what the options are. He's going to have to be worried about that in case he gets fully intercepted cleanly.
Yeah, the Vitality backboard has looked pretty open at times. And maybe, like you mentioned, the infield pass is not the correct option for TL. If Vitality are trying to intercept those and just vacating their backboard entirely again. You take a look at the position of the Vitality defense. Everybody's all the way down on the ground level, so it's harder to immediately get up for those. Oh, speaking of difficulty getting up for clears, Team Liquid missed another one, and Vitality get the easiest goal yet.
Yeah, Fruity just sort of hooks himself through the middle of the rotation into the net. Give himself no real range of motion. The moment you have to turn like that, you are stopping the car completely dead, and that means that your acceleration to the ball, no matter where it is going to be that much slower. And Vitality currently biting back after their Game 1 loss. Liquid not quite as fluid so far. They're trying to train together some passing plays. They've not worked out. What's really happened is that Vitality have managed to start using that intelligence that they've got to start intercepting, throwing forward their own offense. Alpha to the corner. Cooks here tries to take it away, but now the infield dropped. Nobody around, and now a bit of a unfocused infield pass this time around from Renault Vitality, dropping it down to Cooks here. He's got speed to his left. He's gone to aim for him, who will take the net, but it's a whipped shot. And Fruity has to sky it just to buy his team time.
I love the placement from Speed there. He totally sold the Renault Vitality goalkeeper into thinking it was going to be a shot across the goal. Then the near post pass came in, but Cuxter misses. That's a big let off because the setup was ideal. The passing was on point from Cuxter and from Speed. Unfortunately, the finishing touch has evaded them.
Speed will be coming back in again. A frustrating game for them so far. They have not managed to get any of these plays to work. So this time decides to go a little bit more direct. See if Fairy Peak's got mistaken him, and it's actually worked out so well.
Wow.
Cooksy changes it up, and it unlocks the door.
Beautiful from Team Liquid. They don't need to panic yet. They just got to keep doing what they're doing. They are creating more chances than Vitality. And look at that passing. Once again, Team Liquid utilizing the full width of the pitch to their advantage. And there's a long, long time left in this game for them to work with.
Good clear yet again. Fairy Peak's going to have to aerial up for this. It's a bit of boost wasted. That button back left is still not around, so he's stuck with 11. Alpha booming clears. Fairy is going to take a player out. Didn't steal the 100 boost, though. I'm kind of surprised by that. Kid up instead. Also on 0. Cooks is not going to quite get it in time before Fairy can at least meet the ball. But I do love what I'm seeing now in terms of the way Team Liquid have adjusted their passing plays. They're not going to go across field anymore. Instead, they are just going to pass left to right, start stretching out that defense. It's going to drop down. Fairy Peak wants to bet as high as possible, but you're going to see Speed ready and waiting.
Team Liquid are remaining calm. That goal has given them hope, and now Fruity on a bit of a demo rampage. He's able to make contact with one, and a great rotation back out. Connects with the ball. Speed with a deflecting shot into the crossbar. Into the ceiling, rather. Vitality have handled it. But Team Liquid are coming at them again, and there's a lot of pace. There's a lot of meaning in these offensive plays. Vitality scrambling quite often to just keep up with them. You know, got to highlight once again, the Vitality backboard is wide open in a lot of these plays. Totally free. Any boomer to the back wall is going to be completely uncontested. Double commit for Vitality is wide open. Cuxter rotates out. He had no boost. He had to go all the way back to get some. Maybe an early breaker rotation there would have resulted in a goal.
Yeah, Cuxter was on nothing. Fruity was on nothing. It was just highly unfortunate for Team Liquid, but they've run out of time here off the backboard. And there's double commit. Cuxter scrambles to keep this play alive for his team, but he's also on nothing. He's going to have to go midfield to see if something will turn up for him. He's now caught into action. His speed on his right. He's going to go from anyway.
Pre-jump.
Pass backed over to Cuxter. It's too far ahead of him to keep this going. Speed tries to keep it away from the nearest defender. It's all up to Fruity, and there goes Fruity.
Yeah, that'll do it. Good bump from behind by Vitality to close out the game. Not a bad try there by Team Liquid at the end. Actually, a connecting pass on a pre-jumping speed. It's impressive, but it didn't lead to a goal. Unfortunately, Cuxter was a bit flat-tired as he waited for the return pass. But, I don't think that's a bad game for Team Liquid at all. They, maybe had a couple of awkward pieces of positioning in defense. Fruity, while he tried to defend against the second goal, was definitely facing the wrong direction. He either arrived in the goal too late or from the wrong angle. And the first goal as well, Vitality were just too quick to the punch. Cuxter unable to recover in time. But as we look at the game all 5 minutes, and if you just ignore the goals, Team Liquid were outsourcing Vitality significantly in the chances department. They had so many opportunities on net, so many real opportunities to get the ball into offense. So what they're doing right now is working. Their gameplay, their game plan, it works against Vitality today. They just have to make the final touch. They have to get these shots on net. And I think also hit that backboard. Vitality's backboard has been wide open for so many of these offensive plays from Team Liquid.
I feel like, almost the way that this series has been going is also quite good for Vitality though as well, because the more offense you let Liquid have, they love to commit all 3 players to it. And their rotation back isn't phenomenal. We've already seen, like we saw for the last one, Fruity getting himself a little bit disjointed when he was on his way back. So if you're Vitality, if you can stave off that pressure, you are going to get gifted a golden opportunity after the fact.
That's why I think Speed is the golden third man for this team. His ability to read the play, read the offense of the other team as it comes forward is second to none. When he's the last man back in defense for Team Liquid, they look incredibly solid. He's always in the right place. He's always able to get goal side of the ball and put in at least an attempted save or block on a pass. But yeah, Cuxter and Fruity not quite on that same level. They're difficult to get the ball past, but certainly not as much as a Speed or maybe a Fairy Peak. Other players who are just so well known for playing that role to perfection. But where Fruity and Cuxter do come very much into their own is playing that double disruption role. They are so hard to stop offensively, so hard to read on Cuxter's end. And yeah, Fruity, just a brutal player with his off-the-ball plays. And that's a confident aerial by him. He's going to go for the net immediately. K-Dop's going to dive across and get the save. Once again, Team Liquid are creating realistic chances to score.
And Fruity does not do a middle ground, does he? He either hits it in the most perfect way possible or he doesn't hit it. There is no in-between with this lad. So this can go off the backboard. Fruity couldn't quite get it. And that is both Fairy and Speed missing. And for the second time, the ball is going to ping-pong around the net and somehow not go in.
Well, we're going to need to take a look back at that one. That was definitely not very clear from my perspective. Oh my goodness, how did that not go in? Fairy Peak from point blank range, unable to make contact. It looked like for me that he rammed into the post or something.
So, oh, that's going to be into the midfield.
Oh, wow.
He's going to get it. So the last one to me looked like they came forward expecting the defense to make contact. They went for the block. Alpha. Oh, he baited Cuxter. He really wanted him to make contact. Follow up. Cuxter will keep it out. Somehow, it goes off the face of K-Dop. Vitality have had all the offense this last minute, yet they've got none of the goals. Alpha would like to try and engage Cuxter in the air dribble. He does get it free. And Speed will bail them out yet again.
Yeah, Speed really is just carrying the defense here. I think you're right. It must have been Speed and Fairy both trying to block each other, and since they're both going for blocking plays, they both whiff the ball, which is barely moving in the previous play. No other explanation makes sense to me. At least not gameplay and decision-making wise. But how have Team Liquid escaped this first few minutes without conceding? I honestly have no idea. This is one of the best starts Vitality, I think the best start by a mile Vitality have had in establishing that full-on pressure game that they are also so well known for. But Team Liquid have held it together just barely. Cuxter off his own bar. Speed is there for the knock-on. K-Dop has to track back quickly. He's almost out of boost. He does get the clear to the side, and now Vitality are in support.
And here we can see it now. Alpha is starting to get ticking with those air dribbles. He's beat Cuxter on one of them in the midfield. He just got one past Speed. If he is starting to nail these, then that is another feather in the cap of an offense that is looking so potent right now. K-Dop's not going to quite get the challenges after, but it is loose. Fairy Peak unable to read the challenge or read the wall. It's the first time we have seen them in offense and Speed harassing K-Dop. They almost got something for it. That's right back to Vitality on offense. That is a great challenge from K-Dop. In comes Fairy Peak. Not the greatest bounce ever, but they can still move Alpha in. Off the side, he'll look for the double tap. And they are very lucky to not see that one going in. As K-Dop's going to keep this going. We're not going to get a chance to breathe. And neither are Team Liquid.
Triple tap from K-Dop. One into the ceiling, one into the backboard, and one into the goal. And we're looking at Alpha 54 to just make something incredible happen. Get Vitality in the lead. He's so often the man to do that. But K-Dop with a huge play, makes it all the way past the Team Liquid defense by himself. And I think a deserved lead for Vitality in Game 3.
Certainly is. Should be maybe even 2 or 3 at this point. But now, we've only really seen this blue and the orange side of the field once so far. This is going to be number 2. And this one has got to stick. Alpha just baits in. He's going to want to try and take out Fruity as well. That is 2 for 1. K-Dot gets another player out. Every challenge going for Renault Vitality. Every idea has been crisp and on point. This is the most lopsided 1-0 I think I've ever seen, Johnny. And it is going to drop down. Team Liquid are going to have to lick their wounds and come back in Game 4.
Yeah, it could very easily have been a 2-0 lead for Liquid going into this game. That's not the case. Vitality, good enough to win against the run of play. Liquid unable to do so in this third game. It really was a stomp here in terms of pressure. Team Liquid had a couple of early chances. You know, Fruity's laser of an aerial from early in the game, but apart from that, it was all Vitality, and what a goal for K-Dot. I think Alpha and Fairy have been taking most of the praise this year with Alpha's offense, Fairy Peak defensively, and just being such a presence in the midfield and such high involvement in every play. But you got to, remember what K-Dot brings to this team. Whenever the pressure is at its peak, K-Dot, he will always show up, and that's why he's the 3-time world champion. That's why he always finds himself on top teams season after season, ever since season 2 of RLCS. Once again, showing us that he is still here to pop off and put in winning goals.
There's that thing of just because you're from almost an older era of Rocket League players doesn't mean that these players can't start to catch up on the mechanics. Yes, K-Dot maybe a step down when it comes to Alpha, so is the majority of Europe.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not necessarily a major issue.
No, mechanically,
K-Dot
be able to stay there. That's almost another goal for him. He's been praised over the years for his ability to strike the ball so accurately, but now the Rocket League game needs so much more than that in order for goals to be scored. You're not receiving so many free hits on net as he used to back in the day, when he was, putting in well over a goal per game for a few seasons in a row. Yeah, he's able to keep up because he's got insane work ethic. Oh man, Alpha's just put that through past 2 of them. When he started air dribbling towards Team Liquid, you look up and see 2 players in front of him. You think that that's going to be enough to stop him, but then you realize neither of those players are speed, so Alpha is going to make it through.
Well, you were talking there about K-Dot's insane work ethic. Alpha is here because he does insane work. He is very difficult to play with no matter which side of the ball you're on, and if you're Renault Vitality, this is the perfect start because you just continue on where you left off on Aquadome. Fairy Peak will be going solo. I think he's more than comfortable doing that setup, and K-Dot arrived too early. In comes Alpha to keep the play on. Renault Vitality getting these second touches, and so far, Team Liquid have no idea how to read them.
I don't know how Alpha reads that corner bounce. He's just so confident with his ability. He's so confident in his own ability, rather, to set up these perfect hits, getting these minute little rebounds into corner walls are in and of themselves so hard to read, but to read them just on the spot with no time to actually react to the bounce. Very impressive stuff from Alpha once again. And Team Liquid, just like game number 3, struggling to get the ball out to their half. They were really able to establish their game in the first 2 of this series, but games 3 and 4, we've seen far less from Fruity and Cuxter up front. And Vitality don't look threatened in the slightest. It's, looking good for my prediction, or both of them, but not the game 5 prediction, which I did decide to throw in there as a little bit of a bonus.
Certainly not, and this is, nothing against Team Liquid at all. They have just come up against a game Renault Vitality. A Renault Vitality that is annoyed that Team BDS has taken away their shine. As it is Alpha again, taking the save. You know that is in the back of their minds. We all know just how competitive K-Dot especially is. The idea that BDS has taken 2 regionals in a row will be eating away at him.
Yeah, every season of RLCS, that K-Dop did not win the actual RLCS World Championship LAN. He either made a roster change or left the team. So it's win or go home. There's no second best for K-Dop. He is a winner, born winner. He's here to win. And I don't think Alpha and Fairy Peak are going to be too bothered by that mentality when you're playing with someone like K-Dop. It's easy to fall suit. Oh, Alpha's going to put one in with absolutely nothing to stop him from Team Liquid. It's worth pointing out, by the way, he's done that one over the top of Speed. So good news for Alpha. Speed is not his boogeyman. He's able to put one in while Speed is in defense. Yeah, how do you stop Vitality when they're playing like this? So Team Liquid actually played pretty well today, but they're still second best by a fair margin.
Yeah, they were matching them in terms of pace, but the pace just keeps ramping up. Fairy's got it up to 3. There was a bump off the ball that kept him going. K-Op is turned massive. Fairy Peak has been phenomenal. And Alpha has been destructive. Renault Vitality are looking outstanding today. And if this was any other week of this tournament, Johnny, we'd be saying, well, maybe that we can keep seeing this from them next week. They don't have to peak for that long this time around. They just have to peak for 3 days in a row, and they'll be perfectly happy.
Yeah, that's what makes this regional event so interesting, is the time frame being so much smaller than the previous ones. I've really enjoyed watching those, double weekend tournaments and seeing what teams are able to show up on both weekends, seeing what teams struggle. But now we're just going to see who can play that, battle of the war of attrition, that, in the race of endurance, as you have to show up for 3 days on a weekend. Not for how these, first 2 days are split between the groups. Yeah, 3 days on one weekend. So many games of Rocket League being played, and especially for Team Liquid, who look like they're going to be taking the L here, meaning they have to play at least one more series to get into the next stage. But for Vitality, it's just business as usual. They started off this series, I'd say, with a slight disadvantage in the run of play, but they absolutely turned it around. And there's no doubt that they would. Even when we saw Team Liquid with a slight advantage at the start of the series, you just knew Vitality would figure out a way to come back and start to swing things more in their favor.
Yeah, certainly so. And just to put that into perspective for you guys at home, if the minimum you have to do this weekend to take home that first place is 9 series win against some of the best that Europe's got to offer, 27 games at minimum.
Yeah.
And that is if you don't take a single loss. This is really difficult for all teams out there. Everyone has been put to the same task. But for today, Renault Vitality are going to do what they always do and not have to worry about those later stages, not have to worry about those longer days, because they just keep on winning. They head to 2-0.
And not too much to worry about for Team Liquid. If you just look at the scoreline and you see that this one didn't go to the ace match, it's the first time that these two teams have played recently, and it hasn't gone to a Game 5 or a Game 7 in a best of 5 or best of 7, respectively, this being a 3-1. Don't worry too much. Vitality did just step it up a gear for Games 3 and 4 in this one. Team Liquid started off the series with a very good-looking playstyle, and if they can, get Cuxer up front, get Fruity, moving at full speed in offense, it's going to be very, very hard for the other teams in this group. Basically, everyone whose name isn't Renault Vitality, it's going to be hard for them to stop a Team Liquid offense once it gets rolling.
Yeah, defensively, Team Liquid looked absolutely fantastic. But Johnny, I'm going to take the opportunity whilst I can here to say a sentence I've been waiting to say for a long time, because in the starting few regionals we kept turning around whenever we casted Renault Vitality and said, yeah, Vitality won, they look good, and they can be better. This is one of those rare times I turn around and just go, all right, Vitality look great. If they are going to get better, it's marginal. This is terrifying for any other team around here. And if they look like this as well, you've got to imagine that whilst we think, we can turn around here and say, Liquid, you looked really good here. You just ended up coming against a good team like that. Any team that comes up against this form of Vitality and does get smashed might not think of it the same way, and that might start trickling them down that downward spiral that Swiss can cause you to go in.
Yeah, well, the good thing for Vitality today is it wasn't just the Alpha 54 show. Sometimes it is just Alpha carrying, because that's all they need. They just need Alpha to pop off and they win. But we saw, a banger from K-Dop. We saw Fairy Peak getting involved in every play. Full team brilliance from the former champions, the former many-time champions of Europe.
Certainly so. So when we come back, it is time to start our qualification and elimination rounds as we continue regional number 3.